Ron DeSantis is in road test mode, selling his big midterm reelection win as a model for the National Republican Party. And there is no question a lot of Republican leaders, donors, operatives, and voters are impressed. But there's also some clear and very interesting grumbling. The 44-year-old Florida governor has a go-it-alone reputation, and he also has a clear disdain or distrust of the Republican establishment. DeSantis received a standing ovation this past weekend after speaking to a Republican gathering in Las Vegas that attracted more than a half dozen potential 2024 prospects. But one attendee delivered, listen here, both a complaint and a compliment, telling CNN when DeSantis came on, all the young kids came up. It was like a celebrity showed up. But he didn't stick around to schmooze. CNN's Michael Warren joins our panel to share this reporting. Is this just donors, operatives, they want to be loved, they want to schmooze? Is it just like, so what? This is some egos that want to be, stroked by Ron DeSantis, or does he have a problem?
Yes, right? I mean, we should have some caveats here. Ron DeSantis is a rock star. You saw that reception. He's shaking hands on the rope line. At an event last week, the RGA, the Republican Governors Association meeting in Orlando, his home state, he was also received, gave a speech, had a conversation, got a big raucous standing ovation. And look, he's got a lot going for him. He's got over $200 million in the bank. Polling shows that if anybody's going to challenge Donald Trump for the Republican nomination, it's him. But these donors are pointing out that he does seem to have a disdain, as you put it, for the kind of glad-handing that's going on right now at this moment early on in the primary process. He does not like to meet with donors. That RGA meeting, for instance, in his own home state, he went to one event. He wasn't at an all-governors meeting. He wasn't at a reception with donors. And they notice, and they're picking up on it. It is a question of whether or not he can get the Republican nomination without doing that. That's sort of been his MO throughout his political career. But he hasn't really been on the national stage the way he seems to be moving toward now.
And so, forgive the Thanksgiving metaphor, but he's being picked apart like a turkey right now because he is this rising star, and because a lot of Republicans who don't want Trump think we might have to pick one person, right? Pick somebody to rally around. So Chris Christie, who thinks he's that person, says, I don't think Ron hangs out with anybody. Former Congressman David Jolly from Florida, who's no longer a member of the Republican Party, calls Ron DeSantis a bit of an odd duck. Ryan Costello, who served with DeSantis in the House, says he had friends, he had allies, but he was not a gregarious backslapper. The question is, does that matter? We were talking during the break. Barack Obama was sort of aloof. I think he served 2 terms as president.
I covered Barack Obama for 8 years, plus his campaign. He was absolutely aloof. There were White House events where donors, where people were invited, where he was supposed to shake hands, where he got criticized for not staying at the events there, let alone fundraisers that he would go to for the DNC and for his campaign. And he did fine. So it's okay sometimes to be aloof if that's who you are. But I think it does have an impact, especially at the beginning of a national career on the political stage. And so no doubt that reporting is fascinating. It also shows that there's a target on his back.
Yeah, so you quote this DeSantis fundraiser in your piece, Nick LaRossi. No one seems to care whether he wants to stay at a reception and shake hands. They care more about what he does as governor to improve their lives on a day-to-day basis. I would add to that, and this was the Obama magic, if you will. He could hold the establishment aside because he was winning. Right? If they think you're the horse that's going to get them what they want, which is the White House, people will grumble a little bit, but send you a check.
And the context here is DeSantis came up through the Tea Party era again, then sort of embraced the Freedom Caucus, then was in the Trump wing of the party. All of that means you've entered the politic in a defensive crouch, kind of. You're not going to deal with the establishment because you're an outsider. Well, what happens when you're an insider? When you're just a governor running for election, like any other governor who might be running for election, now you've got to deal with, if you don't want the establishment infrastructure. And the infrastructure is the money and the glad handling and the donors and making those tastemakers and kingmakers happy. I think what my question is, Trump has captured so much of the state party mechanism around the country that I don't know what DeSantis's lane is through that infrastructure. You don't have the state parties. You're not doing your handshakes with the donors. Who are the people, that you're going to get? Maybe you have the answer here.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that is a question, is a concern, right? I mean, you need friends if you're in Ron DeSantis' position. And that is something that I hear constantly from donors. Will he have enough friends? He's not really buddy-buddy, for instance, with the Republican governors.
And the base is what is giving Trump all those small donations, right? So he's not tapping that yet.
That's right. But you know, again, I mentioned it before. He has over $200 million, DeSantis does, in the bank. He has money. He has a base of support. But these are the questions, and he's under the microscope in a lot of ways. And there is an eagerness to get on board with DeSantis among donors that I speak with.
Yeah.
They just want to know more. And so far, they're getting kind of halfway.
And we're in the era of the billion-dollar campaign, right? That is like how your table stakes if you're going to run for president.
And until they had to, the Republican establishment didn't want Trump. They pushed him away. They criticized him. They said he's not one of us. They said he didn't share our principles, our party. And now, you know, if they have to, the establishment doesn't like him. But to your point, he has the donors, the base, and there were no state parties on Trump's side when he ran. Now he has most of them wired. Let's listen to a bit to DeSantis, because his point is, you might not love everything about me. My record, I can win.
What we've shown in Florida is you can stand up for truth, you can stand on principle, you can fight the woke elite, and you can win. I don't think you can ever find a governor in history that has been attacked more than me for standing up for what's true. We've accomplished more over a 4-year period than anybody thought possible, but I can tell you this, we've got a lot more to do, and I have only begun to fight.
There is a Trumpy message to that, right? Go after the woke people, go after the media. But he also comes
but
to
also the only I can
only I,
hyperbole around your
But he
accomplishment.
essentially comes to the table with, I have more than 10% of the electoral college votes it takes to be president. I have Florida. Thank you very much.
Right. And he does bring a lot of these elements, a lot of the Trumpy elements without being Trump himself, which is why if you talk to Republicans, who don't like Trump, they can at least be warm or at least open to supporting Governor DeSantis. And I think the fact that obviously Florida has trended red in recent cycles, but the fact that he won resoundingly, I think is certainly a plus in his favor.
Winning helps everything.
He had a very weak opponent. But he still won. In the end, it goes in the books as a win, right? A win is a win is a win.